So, what do we have next in these 52 years of my life? A YouTube channel? Hey there, welcome to the Awakened Heart Collective. I'm so glad you found me. This is basically a brand new channel. Now, I've had it for a couple of years, and as you can see, there are some videos that were uploaded a couple of years ago. I used to have an Unlocking Feminine Power course. It was probably a couple of years ago in 2019, and I had some love talks that I used to do through Radiantly Divine, and I interviewed some amazing women. We talked about a lot of things into what it means to be a feminine woman in today's world and so many other different topics. It was pretty amazing, but it kind of took a back seat as we moved into 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020. Well, first of all, I got a job that was very demanding and I was working like crazy. Second of all, the biggest thing is what happened during 2020. The world shut down. And let me tell you, I had a huge awakening during that time. Before that time, I was all about everything spiritual. I understood the divine feminine from maybe more of an esoteric standpoint, more about the softer feminine. I didn't really embody all aspects of the feminine. Like I went into my dark feminine during that time period, and I'll speak more into what the dark feminine is and what the light feminine is and how they're all intertwined and how we need both in order to really feel the totality of our femininity, which is so important, what is so needed in this world right now. And that's why I felt so compelled to start a YouTube channel to speak to ladies like yourself who might have gone through the period of the last couple of years thinking, things just don't add up. What is this? Like, what's happening to womanhood? How are we being erased? Like, a lot of you might have come into, I'm 52 years old. And so I'm speaking into this as a 52-year-old woman. I see a lot of YouTubers, they're younger and they have some fabulous channels, but where is our voice? So in our 50s, in our 40s, even I want to be inspiration for someone that might be in their 20s or 30s and seeing that it doesn't end at a certain age, and then you can have this super beautiful divine feminine intelligence and have something to look forward to where beauty is from the inside out. But going back to 2020, oh Lord. So I had a huge awakening. So what happened in 2020? I used to do a lot of live videos. I used to do a lot of interviews. I used to do a lot on video. Well, in 2020, I had started a podcast called the Awakened Heart Podcast. And I've released, as of this airing, 55 episodes so far. And when I began that podcast and the pandemic happened, I was like, oh, it's the great slowdown. The earth is cooling off. It's all spiritual and this is great. We're going to be unity. And then as time went on, I was like, wait a minute, masks. Wait a minute, locking down, like what happened in 2 weeks? Okay, and then what's going on now? Like, this virus. Anyway, things just didn't make sense. And if you ever listen to the beginnings of my podcast as I go on, you can see the evolution of me putting the pieces together and having my awakening where it's kind of like WTF. I know a lot of you ladies probably have felt the same. Fast forward 3 years later, almost 3 years later, I see everything. I went through a very huge awakening where everything that I believed to be true was turned upside down, where I thought, the government, I'm not going to get too much into the political thing. And I'm not afraid to talk into some of the things that I've seen that's happened on the world stage. But when I do talk about it, I want to leave with a sense of empowerment because there's so much more going on than what we're seeing in the 3D right now. And it's about bringing ourselves, above that. But I did go into a huge awakening, which I know a lot of you guys have, and it's not a pretty process. Literally, it's like, I'll speak into this later when I give more about myself, but the awakening. I don't like seeing what's happening to us women. I feel us women are being erased. And so many people are looking to the external for their validation and their self-worth. It's about bringing it home. And I didn't feel very feminine over the last couple of years because I was so angry. I was like literally pissed off at what I was seeing happen. I went into fear mode. I went into terror. I felt very defensive, very angry. And I realized that over time that's an aspect of the divine feminine. It's called the solar feminine, the dark feminine, where she's a change maker. She's upset. She sees what's happening in humanity and her heart hurts for them and she wants to change. She's a change maker, tied in with the softer feminine aspects that I was so familiar with: flow, ease, grace, beauty, receptivity. So now that I'm embracing the totality of it, I feel like I never can talk about something unless I'm actually embodying it myself. And so now I'm finally coming back to a round where I'm feeling ready to speak into the divine and know how important it is for all of us ladies to embrace our divine femininity, how important it is for us in our world to claim the truth of who we are. And that can't be found out there. It can't come from a place of victimization. It can't look for somebody else to save us. It is only up to us and claiming the truth of who we are, which is divine feminine women. And as we do that, we hold space for the masculine to show himself, to bring in that beautiful polarity of the divine masculine, which is needed in our world as well. Because what's happened is the earth has become so hot because of all this masculine energy. I'm not even going to say toxic masculinity because I think that's just been given a big bad name. And this is for women. This channel is for women who really would like to tap into their femininity more and to really embrace the beauty that is the feminine. And like I said, we'll talk more into that at another point. And this is also for women that, we'll talk about dating. What it's like to be in this world. You might have come out of a relationship or a long marriage. You might have raised your children already and come into the world. Maybe you're starting life over. You've become divorced. Kids are grown and now you're out in this world. Like, what the hell is going on with what's going on with dating and this swiping era? And I'll also be sharing things about healthy living. And well, let me tell you, I'm no health expert, but I just whatever has worked for me. I love dairy. I love my sugar, but it's all in moderation. And some of the things that I might have done for gut health or what I've learned about some of the foods that we eat and how to have like a healthy immune system. There's been a lot happening in the last couple of years. All this propaganda, this medical intervention that has literally been forced upon the masses, and what to look for to empower your choices going forward. And it's so important now more than ever for our voices to be heard. And we need to be able to, as we pop awake and as we give ourselves permission to use our voices, we give others permission to do the same, because somebody else might be saying, oh my gosh, yeah, I really resonate with that. And it's from us being vulnerable with our own stories and how we're not perfect. I sure as shit ain't perfect. That's for sure. But I am very passionate about helping women. I'm very passionate about the divine femininity and about being feminine and about really getting off the hamster wheel. A lot of women are on the hamster wheel. They're doing it all. They're feeling exhausted. They're not feeling in tune with themselves. And it's time for us to bring it home, So this is a channel where we are going to dive into the femininity, our feminine aspects, and really embrace the totality of who we are and really change our energy fields, because when we change ourselves, so when we go in and we tap into that which is true for ourselves, we energetically change. And that gives everybody else, that gives others permission to do the same. Whether it's a conscious acknowledgement, just by changing the field around us, others change as well. And we need to be lighthouses and way showers for others too. The world needs our voices now more than ever. And it's so important now to, maybe you've thought about speaking up about some of the things that are going on, but you've been afraid to. Maybe you've been afraid that that you'll be rejected, or you're so afraid of what people will think of you. But when you stand in your power, you can speak from that part, because there's a lot that's happening on our stage right now, and we need women leaders. So when we really can embrace all aspects of ourselves and tap into that, we can be the change that we'd like to see in the world. I'll also be sharing some health tips. Now, I'm not a health expert, but things that have helped me thrive in the world. I'm 52 years old. That helped me thrive in the world at my age, because it's not over in our 50s. It's just like, what is it? The 50s is the new 30s, right? Let me tell you, this is a lot different than turning the phone around and pointing the camera at me and just randomly talking about this or that. It's very easy for me to do this. This is a little intimidating, this whole YouTube thing. Initially, I was going to do a TikTok. I thought about it, but then I learned about TikTok and what is actually happening with the algorithms and who is in control of that app. And it scared me too much. So I thought, why not YouTube? So it's a whole new medium. This is not in my comfort zone, but as time goes on, I'll get more and more comfortable. But I do have so much to talk about, and I'm very passionate about women. I'm very passionate about our place, and I don't like seeing what's happening in our world. And it's our time, the divine feminine. We are rising. And that's not about squashing men. That's not about being something that we're not. That's not about like putting on a suit like they did in the feminist movement and going out into the workplace and trying to become men. We can do all these things, but we can do it from our true natural feminine essence. I mean, how good does that feel? How good does it feel when we are in our feminine? So there's much more to come. I would love for you to like or subscribe and see what's next, and let's journey together. And yay, women, goddess energy. Here we go.